That I like our depth. We're playing a lot of guys right now for various reasons, and a lot of guys are getting a lot more reps than maybe anticipated. And could be freshmen, could be guys who haven't gotten reps before, but I've been really pleased with what they've been able to do while stepping in. Some of these guys may not have been able to, be expecting to be a starter or even a two as you start this fall ball, and very quickly they are one of those things. So, there's always work to do. Especially at the offensive line position in terms of all that technique and all the fundamental work that is so important to everything we do each play. But, I've been happy with how guys have stepped up and really got a lot done for us.
You mentioned how guys may have been thrown into certain situations that they're not used to. From a coaching perspective, how much more can you find out about an individual when you do maybe throw them into a spot that they maybe weren't necessarily quite ready for yet? I understand it's practice, not an in-game situation, but still what more you could possibly find out?
No, you find out what kind of guy they are and how they respond to pressure, especially if it's not expected. And I want to see that. I want to see those kinds of situations in practice, not only for the offensive line, but for everybody across our team. So I think it's really important, and I think some guys have stepped up. Some guys are going to falter a little bit. You may have some youth in there that literally has no experience of college football yet, and it's a lot, and that's what's going to happen. This is their fall camp. Per se, and understanding that. But, I value it a lot because, like you said, it's not in-game necessarily, but for some of these guys who haven't experienced in-game, it's very well close to it. So I think you really do get a lot of that in terms of how these guys respond, and that's what we talk about across the board on offense, how you're going to respond to these adverse situations.
One of those guys I know coach has talked very highly about is Jackson Byrne, who really came in as a non-scholarship guy. Some injury situations have happened, which has allowed him to really show you what he's been able to do recently. Just kind of expand a little bit on a guy like Jackson and how maybe when he first got here there was a lot to learn, but now all of a sudden he's a guy that you don't hesitate at all to throw out there.
No, Jackson started fall ball running with the two guards and sometimes the three center. Very quickly in the first couple of practices, some things changed. Without even getting reps at it, I know he's done it in the past. I threw him in and he performed at a high level, and that's where we talk about those situations where I do that, and a guy does something like that, gets you excited, okay? And it gets you excited about the depth you've built, gets you excited about the kind of guys you have on your team. But he's taken it and he's run with it. He's pulled the old Wally Pip. Lou Gehrig steps in and here it is, and he's done a heck of a job of not turning back, and he's getting the absolute most out of these reps, and it's only going to help us down the road. Could be the guy down the road. I don't know. But if he's not, he's for sure going to be ready to go into a game and perform at a high level.
For someone that played the position, take Jose for example. When you look at him a year ago without game experience yet versus now coaching him with game experience, where's his biggest jump been, and how much more can you get out of a guy when he's at least got a little bit of that in-game experience like he got a year ago?
The football IQ aspect of it, where he's taken his understanding, not only of what we're doing offensively, but even more so, how a defensive lineman plays a three technique, a head up two, a 2-eye, what we're expecting in terms of possible pressure and movements. He's become a true student of the game, and coming and talk to me about specific things and say, hey, what about this? He's jumping his stuff before I say to the guys, hey, I want to get to this. Jose's come and already said it in my office. So that's where he's taken his next step on top of really refining his technique and specifically the fundamentals of stuff I've already mentioned, the most important thing for offensive line. He's taken that to the next level. So I've been really pleased with him and his ability to see the whole picture, okay, and it's not just him listening to calls this year, it's him making calls. And when you get to that point, even as a young player, he's still a sophomore now, that's when you're really cooking, and that's where you're really excited for the direction of that group, and specifically Jose.
Specifically, even more on that, I know last year you guys, Luke, we just weren't good enough up front, and I know a big part of that was building that personality, that mantra, that physicality that you need for that position. I know there's still camp to go, there's still more practice and still time, but where do you feel you're at in that, and building that identity up front and really having much more than just five guys, but at the very least five guys that you can throw out there, and man, they're going to have that fiery personality and that fiery fight that you need?
we're definitely building towards it. I think that this group is a much different personality as a room overall than what we might have had in the past. Not good or bad, but just different. And I've stressed, whether it was in February before everybody went home or getting back to it, the mindset and the mentality of playing dominating football, and truly, playing physical football, and it's a fight every play. And Jose, once again, we talked about conversations we've had in my office, and he talked about something his high school coach said: it's a fight every single play, and that's how we've approached it. And understanding that one-on-one battles, you don't lose it and just okay, on to the next. That's got to matter to you. And I think that these guys have absolutely developed an ownership to that mantra, that idea of playing absolutely physical and not just getting in front of guys, okay, but really trying to, punish defenders. And I've been happy with that. Of course, I think anybody will tell you that, the finish is never good enough, or it can always be better, of course. But I like the track in which we're going, but we've also got a lot of work to do and got to finish with that as well.